Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope real inspiration. For real. We're on the road at the Manova Summit, a 3-day future-leaning conference in downtown Minneapolis. My guests, you may know them as the Theranos Whistleblowers, Tyler Shultz and Erika Cheung, but now they have their own companies. Tyler's is Flex Biosciences, and Erika started Ethics in Entrepreneurship. Welcome, you two. You've had kind of a big couple years.
Yes, yes, to say the least.
All right, I want to start with you, Tyler, because you really were instrumental in getting the public, the media, the regulators to look differently at Theranos.
I guess, yeah.
What are some of the things you saw? What are some of the things you saw, you felt? I mean, what made you finally send that anonymous email or that fake name email?
So I anonymously contacted the New York State Department of Health because they were a third party that sent Theranos a sample that was sent to samples around the country. And we were supposed to test that sample the same way we would test a patient sample, but instead we tested it both on third-party equipment and our own equipment, and ultimately just reported the result from the third-party equipment. And so to me, that kind of seemed like if like Tesla had to do a safety inspection, and in the safety inspection, they drove a Ford. And it just didn't make sense to me. And Erika was actually the person who shared that with me. And it just didn't sit right, so I just contacted the New York State Department of Health and said, hey, this is what happened, and I'm wondering if this was okay.
And Erika Cheung, this was your first job out of college. You had a lot of offers. You decided to go with Theranos. Why Theranos back then?
Why Theranos? I mean, it was an exciting time in the Silicon Valley, right? There was like the hype of all the Silicon Valley startups, and this one was in biotech. And beyond that, despite not knowing about the company before I had approached the recruiter for it, in my mind was being led by a really strong female founder with an exciting technology and with an exciting business model, the fact that there was price transparency for all the blood tests and everything else. So it really made me realize that this is the right time. This is the right time to work for a company like this. And it was just exciting. There was a lot of excitement around it.
As you got in there, you, like Tyler, you saw some things that didn't add up, but you also hadn't really had another outside of school kind of job before. So you waited and watched, and you were working the overnight crew. What made you finally decide to take this outside?
Talking to the COO of the company, I think really illuminated that this was not just red flags were happening, problems were happening, people didn't realize what was going on, but actually the upper level management knew that there were problems but weren't going to address them appropriately and do anything about it. Honestly, it took me a while to figure out and actually know how to report to a regulator, and that was an option. So once I was told by a lawyer that I could report to a regulatory agency, for me it was a no-brainer, especially because in most cases you can report to regulatory agencies anonymously and they'll conduct a proper investigation.
So Tyler and Erika, this case, the Theranos case, will probably be studied in business schools forever. We're talking about it on this podcast. What has it taught you, Tyler?
It's really taught me to trust my gut, if anything. They really did try to make you feel like you were the crazy one. And I just had to believe in myself and know that beyond any doubt that I was right. And I just had to follow my gut. So I think that's the main thing that it taught me.
And even with someone like your grandfather on the board of Theranos, that must have been a hard family conversation.
Yeah, there were a few hard conversations to be had, yeah.
Erika, what did this whole mess, let's call it, teach you?
Ask better questions. Always ask questions. Be like the annoying Hermione Granger of asking questions, because it's really important and they cost nothing but can provide you with a lot. So never stop asking questions.
If you had to do it again, Erika, would you have accepted this job?
Oh, that's a... That's a good question. I don't know. That's really hard to say. I can only base it on what I decided to do. I mean, if I had more information about the company, probably I wouldn't have signed up. And I had discouraged quite a few other people from joining the company after I'd found out. But, at least we were there at the right time and able to have this finally stop after being in business for 15 years. So
You have gone on, which I'm just a remarkable young people. You have committed yourself to growing the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Hong Kong, China, and Southeast Asia. You've also launched ethics and entrepreneurship. What do you hope to accomplish with your organization?
I hope that people start thinking about ethics more proactively versus reactively, where it's not just, oh, I need to do this because of compliance reasons, but I'm doing this because the products, the services, the organizations I build have an impact on other people. And if we can nudge people to making good decisions and making sure that we're building technologies that empower everyone, not just, say, the founders or even the investors, but the people that they touch upon their lives and prevent potentially big catastrophes from happening. That's really a big key mission of ours. And we're starting with a kind of niche community, but from there, if we can solve it among startup founders, maybe we can scale it out to other organizations as well.
Tyler, you're co-founder of Flux Biosciences. Your co-founder is a Stanford professor, so you're getting some good advice along the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So that's one of the key differences between what I'm doing and what Elizabeth did with Theranos, is that we are basing our company based on 15 years of published research and patents and papers. So even though we just raised a seed round, we have a very strong foundation.
Give people a little teaser here if they want to look you up, maybe invest.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, we are commercializing a magnetic biochip that is capable of measuring sensitively and quantitatively multiple biomarkers at the same time. And so we are initially using this for female fertility purposes. So being able to identify the exact day of ovulation, but then also identify if there's some issues that won't be overcome by just continuing to try and referring those users directly to fertility clinics.
Wow, you two, the brain power right here on this podcast, let me tell you. Well, I'm very impressed with both of you. This is heady work. Erika, what do you do for fun?
Oh, great. What do I do for fun? I am lucky enough that I've managed to build great communities around the world of people who I really admire and that teach me to be a better person day in, day out. So just spending time with the people I love is something that I enjoy. Cooking good food, eating good food.
What's your
dancing.
favorite meal?
My favorite meal? Too many. Hot pot.
And do you cook that?
No, it's communal. We go out to eat. Maybe we could cook it at home, but we normally will go out to a restaurant and get a hot pot.
Very fun.
Yeah, the stove in the middle of your table.
In
your kitchen.
Exactly.
Tyler, how about you? When do you find time and what do you do for fun?
I love playing music, playing guitar, writing songs. So that's my main outlet, yeah.
If there were a song that up until this point would be the theme for Tyler's life, or maybe it's a song you've written, what would that song be?
Wow. I don't know. I need to think about that.
You need to write that song. Erika, how about you? Do you have a theme song or a song that just gets you going?
I was hoping that was just a Tyler question because I was like, hurry, scramble, figure out how I'm going to answer this question. Oh, man. I could do you could do the J-Lo song, Jenny from the Block. No, I'm kidding. No.
It's a good song. It's old school. I like it. What's your advice to people who want to get into the startup world? Maybe they have an idea. A case like Theranos may say, oh, there are a lot more red flags out there. Maybe it could be a deterrent. But what's your advice?
What's my advice? I mean, a lot of us have very audacious, beautiful goals. Stick to your vision. It's going to be a lot of hard work. If you can, try and find companies that are already working on the problem you're trying to solve and try and learn from the best. And then launch, I would say, is a piece of advice that a lot of people don't recommend. But it's going to be a lot of hard work. But if you really believe in yourself and believe in what you're trying to build, go for it. And especially, go for it. You only get one life, so might as well do the things that you want to.
How about you, Tyler?
I wasn't listening to the question. I was still thinking about my song. What's the song that goes, this shit is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S? It's called Bananas? That song.
That is adorable.
I like it. Do you have advice, though, for people coming up after you?
Advice. So my advice is to stick with your, trust your gut, but then to also find allies at your companies and make sure that you are questioning yourself as well as the company that you're at. And if there's ever a question, then you need to consult a lawyer. If you ever think, I might need to consult a lawyer, you should definitely consult a lawyer.
Good advice, Erika.
Yeah. I didn't consult. I consulted a lawyer, but for free. I bootstrapped my lawyer experience.
But it's good that you're thinking about the laws and the regulation.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you have to. Right? If you're building a company, like there's no breaking the laws. Let's make that clear. You will, even if you don't get caught at one point, you're likely to get caught.
Well, Erika Cheung, Tyler Shultz, with entrepreneurs out there like you, I am not worried. The future is bright. Until next time, keep it real.